वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं च नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, today we are starting new chapter, chapter 5, Durvasa Muni's life spared. Text number 1 onwards. Shri Shukvacha, Evam Bhagvatadishto Durvasa Chakratapitaha Ambarisham Upavritya Tatpado Dukito Agrahit. Shukdev Goswami said, when thus advised by Lord Vishnu, Durvasa Muni, who was very much harassed by the Sudarshan Chakra, immediately approached Maharaj Amrish. Being very much aggrieved, the Muni fell down and clasped the king's lotus feet. Just imagine Durvasa Muni clasping the lotus feet of King Amrish. Tasya suvadyam ma vikshya padasparsha vilanjitaha astavita tadharestram kripya pidito bhrisham. When Durvasa touched his lotus feet, Maharaj Amrish was very much ashamed. And when he saw Durvasa attempting to offer prayers because of mercy, he was aggrieved even more. Thus, he immediately began offering prayers to the great weapon of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Maharaj Amrish was offering prayers to Sudarshan Chakra. Amrish Uvacha, Tvam Agnir Bhagwan Suryas, Tvam Somo Jyotisham Pati, Tvam Apas Tvam Kshitirvyoma, Vayur Matendriyani Cha. Maharaj Amrish said, O Sudarshan Chakra, you're fire, you're the most powerful sun, and you're the moon, the master of all luminaries. You're water, earth, and sky. You're the air, you are the five sense objects, sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, and you're the senses also. Sudarshan Namastubhyam Sahasrachara Achyut Priya Sarvastra Ghatina Vipraya Swasti Bhuya Idaspate. O most favorite of Achyuta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you have thousands of spokes. O Master of the material world, destroyer of all weapons, original vision of this Personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Kindly give shelter and be auspicious to this Brahman. Tvam dharmas tvam ritam satyam tvam yagyo akhil yagya bhuk tvam lokapala sarvatma tvam teja purusham param. O Sudarshan, wheel your religion, your truth, your encouraging statements, your sacrifice, and you're the enjoyer of the fruits of sacrifice. You're the maintainer of the entire universe, and you're the supreme transcendental prowess in the hands of the Personality of Godhead. You're the original vision of the Lord, and therefore you're known as Sudarshan. Everything has been created by your activities, and therefore you're all pervading. So the word Sudarshan means auspicious vision. Sudarshan. Su means auspicious, Darshan means vision. From Vedic instructions, we understand that this material world is created by the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Saakshat Sa Asrajata. The Supreme Personality of Godhead glanced over the Mahatattva, or the total material energy. And when it was agitated, everything came into existence. Western philosophers sometimes think that the original cause of creation was a chunk that exploded. If one thinks of this chunk as a total material energy, the Mahatattva, one can understand that the chunk was agitated by the glance of the Lord. And thus the Lord's glance is the original cause of material creation. So that glance, so darshan, so when glanced by the Lord, it's Sudarshan. So that is Sudarshan Chakra also. Namaha Sunabha Khil Dharma Setave, Yadharma Shila Sur Dhuma Ketave, Trailokya Gopaya Vishuddha Varchase, Manojavaya Adbhut Karmane Gune Grine. O Sudarshan, you have a very auspicious hub, and therefore you're the upholder of all religion. You're just like an inauspicious comet for the irreligious demons. Indeed, you're the maintainer of the three worlds. You're full of transcendental effulgence. You're as quick as the mind, and you're able to work wonders. I can simply utter the word Namah, offering all obeisances unto you. The disc of the Lord is called Sudarshan because he does not discriminate between high and low criminals or demons. Durvasa Muni was certainly a powerful Brahmin, but his acts against a pure devotee, Maharaj Amrish, were no better than the activities of Asuras. As stated in the Shastras, Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavad Pranitam. The word Dharma refers to the orders or laws given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Real Dharma is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, real Dharma means bhakti or devotional service to the Lord. The Sudarshan Chakra is here addressed as Dharma Setave, the protector of Dharma. So real Dharma is to surrender, and Sudarshan Chakra is always there to protect Dharma or the devotees also. Maharaj Ambarish was a truly religious person, and consequently for his protection, the Sudarshan Chakra was ready to punish even such a strict Brahman as Durvasa Muni because he had acted like a demon. There are demons even in the form of Brahmans. Therefore, the Sudarshan Chakra does not discriminate between Brahman demons and Shudra demons. Anyone against the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees is called a demon. In the Shastras, we find many Brahmins and Kshatriyas who acted as demons and have been described as demons. So demons doesn't mean a person with two horns sticking out of his head and long tongue or this or that. Demon is anyone acting against the devotees. Anyone. It could be Brahman, it could be Kshatriya. According to the verdict of the Shastras, one has to be understood according to his symptoms. If one is born of a Brahman father, but his symptoms are demoniac, he is regarded as a demon. Even Ravan's father was a Brahman actually, but he was a big demon. The Sudarshan Chakra is always concerned with annihilating the demons. Therefore, he is described as Adharma Shilasura Dhuma Ketave. Those who are not devotees are called Adharma Shila. The Sudarshan Chakra is just like an inauspicious comet for all such demons. And it's such a powerful weapon of the Lord that nobody can counteract it. Nobody. Tata tejasa dharma mayena samhitam tamaha prakashascha trisho mahatmano duratyayaste mahima girampate tvad rupam etat sad asat paravaram. O master of speech, by your effulgence full of religious principles, the darkness of the world is dissipated, and the knowledge of learned persons, whose great souls, is manifested. Indeed, no one can surpass your effulgence. For all things, manifested and unmanifested, gross and subtle, superior and inferior, are but various forms of you that are manifested by your effulgence. Without illumination, nothing can be seen, especially in this material world. The illumination in this world emanates from the effulgence of Sudarshan, the original vision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The illuminating principles of the sun, the moon, and the fire emanate from Sudarshan. Similarly, illumination of knowledge also comes from Sudarshan, because with the illumination of Sudarshan, one can distinguish one thing from another, the superior from the inferior. Generally, people accept a powerful yogi like Durvasa Muni as wonderfully superior. But if such a person is chased by the Sudarshan Chakra, we can see his real identity and understand how inferior he is because of his dealings with the devotees. So not just the austerities or tapasya what makes one great. It's how he's dealing with the devotees. And Sudarshan Chakra, Prabhupada is explaining wonderfully, and also it's in the shloka. So Sudarshan is not just a chakra, it's a source of knowledge. Knowledge means illumination, and Sudarshan Chakra is full of illumination. And also how we can see everything. It's also only by the effulgence of Sudarshan. And Sudarshan means original vision of the Supreme Personality of God. So they all are related. Everything is related. Yada visrishtas tvam anjanen ve balam pravishto ajit datya danavam bahodaror vangri shirodharani vrishchannas jasram pradhane virajase. O indefatigable one, when you are sent by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to enter among the soldiers of the Daityas and Danavas, you stay on the battlefield and unendingly separate their arms, bellies, thighs, legs, and heads. Satvam jagat rana khal prahana nirupita sarvasvaho gadadhrita viprasya chasmat kul deva hetave videhi bhadram tadanu griho hinaha. O protector of the universe, you are engaged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his all-powerful weapon in killing the very envious enemies. For the benefit of our entire dynasty, kindly favor this poor Brahman. This will certainly be a favor for all of us. So Ambarish Maharaj is praying to Sudarshan, please do your favor on this Brahman. Yadyasti dattam ishtam va swadharmo va swanushita kulam no vipra devam cheda dviju bhavatu vijvaraha. If our family has given charity to the proper persons, if we have performed ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices, if we have properly carried out our occupational duties, and if we have been guided by learned Brahmins, I wish in exchange that this Brahman be freed from the burning caused by the Sudarshan Chakra. Yadino Bhagwan Prita Eka Sarva Gunashraya Sarva Bhutatma Bhavena Dviju Bhavatu Vijvara. If the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is one without a second, who is a reservoir of all transcendental qualities, and who is the life and soul of all living entities, is pleased with us, we wish that this Brahman, Durvasa Muni, be freed from the pain of being burnt. So this is a devotee. Durvasa Muni tried to kill Ambarish Maharaj, but Ambarish Maharaj had no grudge against Durvasa Muni. And he's praying to Sudarshan Chakra, he's praying to the Supreme Lord that Durvasa Muni be freed from the pain. Shri Shukuvacha Iti sastuvato ragyo Vishnu Chakram Sudarshanam Ashamyat Sarvato Vipram Pradahad Rajyanjaya. Shukdev Goswami continued, when the king offered prayers to the Sudarshan Chakra and Lord Vishnu, because of his prayers, the Sudarshan Chakra became peaceful and stopped burning the Brahman known as Durvasa Muni. Samukto asragni tapena Durvasa swasti mastataha prashashans tamarvisham yunjana paramashisha. Durvasa Muni, the greatly powerful mystic, was indeed satisfied when freed from the fire of the Sudarshan Chakra. Thus he praised the qualities of Maharaj Ambarish and offered him the highest benedictions. Durvasa Vacha Aho Ananta Dasanam Mahatvam Drishtamadhyame Kritagaso Api Yadrajan Mangalani Samihase. Durvasa Muni said, my dear king, today I have experienced the greatness of the devotees of the Supreme Personality of God. For although I have committed an offense, you have prayed for my good fortune. Dushkara kono sadhunam dustyajo va mahatmanam yasang grihito bhagwan satvatam rishbho hari. For those who have achieved the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of the pure devotees, what is impossible to do and what is impossible to give up? Means for devotees, everything is possible. यन्नाम श्रुति मात्रेण पुमान भवति निर्मला तस्य तीर्थपदः किं वा दासानाम avashishyate. What is impossible for the servants of the Lord? By the very hearing of his holy name, one is purified. राजन्नानुगृहीतो अहं त्वयाति करुणात्मना मदघं पृष्ठतः कृत्वा प्राणायन्मे अभिरक्षिता. O King, overlooking my offenses, you have saved my life. Thus I am very much obliged to you because you're so merciful. Raja tam kritahara pratyagmana kankya charnavupsanga grahya prasadya sambhojaya. Expecting the return of Durvasa Muni, the king had not taken his food. Therefore, when the sage returned, the king fell at his lotus feet, pleasing him in all respects, and fed him sumptuously. So this point, the king had not taken his food. So we have to see how long was it when Durvasa Muni was gone. So ashitva dhritam manitam matithyam sarvakamikam triptatma niripatim praha bhuchitam iti sadaram. Thus the king respectfully received Durvasa Muni, who after eating varieties of palatable food was so satisfied that with great affection he requested the king to eat also, saying, please take your meal. So Durvasa Muni had gone to take bath in Yamuna, and the king had drank some water to break his Ekadashi fast. And Durvasa Muni came back, he hadn't eaten, and he got angry and he produced a demon, but Sudarshan Chakra appeared, and Durvasa Muni ran away from there. And he went all over. Lord Brahma's abode, Lord Shiva's abode, Lord Vishnu's abode, and then he came back. And king was waiting there for Durvasa Muni to come back to have his meal. And now, after all the running, Durvasa Muni came back and king fed him. And Durvasa Muni requested the king to eat also. Prito asmi anugrihito asmi tava bhagavatasya vai darshana sparsha nala paratite natma medhasa. Durvasa Muni said, I'm very pleased with you, my dear king. At first I thought of you as an ordinary human being and accepted your hospitality. But later I could understand by my own intelligence that you're the most exalted devotee of the Lord. Therefore, simply by seeing you, touching your feet, and talking with you, I've been pleased and become obliged to you. It is said, Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigyena Bhujaya. Even a very intelligent man cannot understand the activities of a pure Vaishnava. Therefore, because Durvasa Muni was a great mystic yogi, he first mistook Maharaj Amrish for an ordinary human being and wanted to punish him. Such is the mistaken observation of a Vaishnava. When Durvasa Muni was persecuted by the Sudarshan Chakra, however, his intelligence developed. Therefore, the word Atma Medhasa is used to indicate that by his personal experience, he would understand how great a Vaishnava the king was. When Durvasa Muni was chased by the Sudarshan Chakra, he wanted to take shelter of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. And he was even able to go to the spiritual world to meet the personality of God and talk with them face to face. Yet he was unable to be rescued from the attack of the Sudarshan Chakra. Thus he could understand the influence of a Vaishnava by personal experience. Durvasa Muni was certainly a great yogi and a very learned Brahman. But despite his being a real yogi, he was unable to understand the influence of a Vaishnava. Therefore, it is said, Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigyena Bhujaya. Even the most learned person cannot understand the value of a Vaishnava. There is always a possibility for so-called Jnanis and yogis to be mistaken when studying the character of a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava can be understood by how much he is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in terms of his inconceivable activities. So that is Vaishnava. Even a Brahman like the Durvasa Muni, great ascetic, very austere, he could go all over the universe. but he could not understand the power or the position or nature, qualities of a Vaishnava. That's how great devotees are. Karma vadatam etat te gayanti swastriyo muhu kirtim parama punyam cha kirtishyati bhuriyam. All the blessed women in the heavenly planets will continuously chant about your spotless character at every moment. And the people of this world will also chant your glories continuously. So that was a benediction by Durvasa Muni. Shri Shukuvacha, Evam Sankirtya Rajana, Durvasa Paritoshita, Yayo Vihaya Samantrya, Brahma Lokam Ahetukam. Shri Shukdev Goswami continued, thus being satisfied in all respects, the great mystic yogi Durvasa took permission and left, continuously glorifying the king. Through the skyways, he went to Brahmaloka, which is devoid of agnostics and dry philosophical speculators. Although Durvasa Muni went back to Brahmaloka through the spaceways, he did not need an airplane, for great mystic yogis can transport themselves from any planet to any other without any machine. There's a planet named Siddhaloka whose inhabitants can go to any other planet because they naturally have all the perfection of yoga practice. Thus, Durvasa Muni, the great mystic yogi, could go through the skyways to any planet, even to Brahmaloka. In Brahmaloka, everyone is self-realized, and thus there is no need of philosophical speculation to come to the conclusions of the absolute truth. Durvasa Muni's purpose in going to Brahmaloka was apparently to speak to the residents of Brahmaloka about how powerful a devotee is and how a devotee can surpass every living entity within this material world. The so-called Gyanis and Yogis cannot compare to a devotee. So by mercy of Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have been given this process. We've been inducted in this process of devotional service. Such a powerful process. We take it lightly, actually. We take it very lightly. Oh, it's okay. I can do my chanting and I can do my services later. But no, this should be the topmost priority of our day. Samvatsaro ati gat tavad yavata nagato gataha manistad darshano nakamshu raja babhaksho babhuvaha. Durvasa Muni had left the place of Maharaj Ambarish, and as long as he had not returned for one complete year, the king had fasted, maintaining himself simply by drinking water. So one complete year. Earlier it was just Ekadashi fast that king was about to break. Now, for one complete year he fasted, waiting for Durvasa Muni to return. Gateyath Durvasasi Sombarisho Vijopayo Gati Pavitra Mahar Rishera Vimoksham Vyasanam Chavikshya Mene Swaviryam Chaparanubhavam. After 1 year, when Durvasa Muni had returned, King Ambarish sumptuously fed him all varieties of pure food, and then he himself also ate. When the king saw that the Brahman Durvasa had been released from the great danger of being burned, he could understand that by the grace of the Lord, he himself was also powerful. But he did not take any credit, for everything had been done by the Lord. So this is another mode of the devotees that pleases the Lord. They don't take any credit. Everything is done by the Lord. Whether he fasted for 1 full year, whether Sudarshan Chakra came to protect Maharaj Ambarish, and whether Durvasa Muni fell down at his feet, whatever. Maharaj Ambarish, it's all done by the mercy of the Lord. A devotee like Maharaj Ambarish is certainly always busy in many activities. Of course, this material world is full of dangers that one has to meet, but a devotee, because of his full dependence on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is never disturbed. The vivid example is Maharaj Ambarish. He was the emperor of the entire world and had many duties to perform. And due course of these duties, there were many disturbances created by persons like Durvasa Muni. But the king tolerated everything, patiently depending fully on the mercy of the Lord. The Lord, however, is situated in everyone's heart, and he manages things as he desires. Thus, although Maharaj Amrish was faced with many disturbances, the Lord, being merciful to him, managed things so nicely that in the end, Durvasa Muni and Maharaj Amrish became great friends and parted cordially on the basis of Bhakti Yoga. After all, Durvasa Muni was convinced of the power of Bhakti Yoga, although he himself was a great mystic yogi. Therefore, as stated by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Yoginam api sarvesha. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Thus, it is a fact that a devotee is the topmost yogi, as proved in the dealings of Maharaj Amrish with Durvasa Muni. Of course, here Durvasa Muni, as Prabhupada said, acted like a demon against a devotee. But Durvasa Muni, being a yogi, Brahman, is also a great devotee of the Lord. Many incidents with Krishna and with Srimati Radharani also. So Durvasa Muni is again a different personality. And maybe Krishna used him here to glorify Maharaj Amrish. Evam vidhan ek gunas raja paratmani brahmani vasudev kriya kalape samavaha bhaktim yaya virinchaya nirayan shakara. In this way, because of devotional service, Maharaj Amrish was endowed with varieties of transcendental qualities, was completely aware of Brahman, Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, and thus he executed devotional service perfectly. Because of his devotion, he thought even the topmost planet of this material world no better than the hellish planets. So Maharaj Amrish, because he is a devotee, he is fully aware of Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. An exalted and pure devotee like Maharaj Amrish is in full awareness of Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. In other words, a devotee of Vasudeva Krishna is in full knowledge of the other features of the Absolute Truth. Absolute Truth is realized in three features: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. A devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, knows everything because Vasudeva Krishna includes both Paramatma and Brahman. One does not have to realize Paramatma by the yoga process. So the devotee always thinking of Vasudeva is a topmost yogi. And as far as Gyan is concerned, if one is a perfect devotee of Vasudeva, he is the greatest Mahatma. A Mahatma means one who has full knowledge of the Absolute Truth. So a devotee, by mercy of the Lord, he knows everything. Paramatma feature, Brahm feature, Brahm Jyoti, and Bhagavan feature also. And on top of it, it serves a Bhagavan. So that completes everything. Everything was known to him. Because the devotee knows Vasudeva, he knows everything within the creation of Vasudeva. Such a devotee does not give much value to the highest standard of happiness within this material world. Because he is fixed in devotion service, a devotee does not regard any position in the material world as important. Srila Prabodhanand Saraswati has written, Kavalyam Narkayame. For one who becomes a pure devotee through devotion service to great personalities like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Kavalya, merging into Brahm, appears to be no better than hell. As far as the heavenly planets are concerned, to a devotee, they like a phantasmagoria or will-o'-the-wisp, means something that does not exist. And as far as yogic perfection is concerned, a devotee does not care a fig for such perfection, since the purpose of yogic perfection is achieved automatically by the devotee. This is all possible when one becomes a devotee of the Lord through the medium of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction. So this is how powerful and how important to become a devotee. Shri Shukavacha Athambarishasthanayeshu Rajyam Samanashileshu Vijrisajya Dhira Vannam Viveshatmani Vasudeve Manodadad Dhasta Guna Pravaha. Srila Shukdev Goswami continued. Thereafter, because of his advanced position in devotional life, Maharaj Amrish, who no longer desired to live with material things, retired from active family life. He divided his property among his sons, who were equally as qualified, and he himself took the order of Vanaprastha and went to the forest to concentrate his mind fully upon Lord Vasudeva. As a pure devotee, Maharaj Amrish was liberated in any condition of life, because as enunciated by Sri Rupa Goswami, a devotee is always liberated. Iha yasya hare radasya karmana manasa gira. In Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Sri Rupa Goswami Srila Rupa Goswami thus instructs that if one's only desire is service to the Lord, he is liberated in any condition of life. Maharaj Amrish was undoubtedly liberated in any condition. But as an ideal king, he accepted the Vanaprastha order of retirement from family life. It is essential for one to renounce family responsibilities and fully concentrate on the lotus feet of Vasudeva. Therefore, Maharaj Amrish divided the kingdom among his sons and retired from family life. Although he was liberated, already liberated, he is such a great devotee, but also to set an example, he accepted the Vanaprastha order. Iti etat punyamakyam ambarishasya bhupate sankirtayan dhyayan bhakto bhagavato bhavet. Anyone who chants this narration or even thinks of this narration about the activities of Maharaj Amrish certainly becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. So that's a Shruti Phala here. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur herein gives a very good example. When one is very eager for more and more money, he is not satisfied, even when he is a millionaire or a multimillionaire, but wants to earn more and more money by any means. The same mentality is present in a devotee. The devotee is never satisfied, thinking, this is the limit of my devotional service. The more he engages in the service of the Lord, the more service he wants to give. That's the beauty of devotional service. This is the position of a devotee. Maharaj Amrish and his family life was certainly a pure devotee, complete in every respect, because his mind and all his senses were engaged in devotional service. Maharaj Amrish was self-satisfied because all of his senses were engaged in devotional service. Nonetheless, although Maharaj Amrish had engaged all his senses in devotional service, he left his home and went to the forest to concentrate his mind fully at the lotus feet of Krishna, exactly as a mercantile man, even though complete in wealth, tries to earn more and more. This mentality of getting more and more engaged in devotional service puts one in the most exalted position. Whereas on the karma platform, the mercantile man who wants more and more money becomes increasingly bound and entangled. The devotee becomes increasingly liberated. So this is the beauty of devotional service. And as we studied earlier, the Lord is Ananta. His service is Ananta. His devotees are unlimited, and they want to serve him unlimitedly. We can say, how can I serve him unlimitedly? I am a limited person. 2 hands, few senses, less with very little intelligence. But if we try, if we just have a desire to serve him unlimitedly, he can make all the arrangements. Prabhupada, at the age of 70, he started ISKCON. And previously we studied how he said, we want to convert the whole world into pure devotees. The purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement is to convert the whole world. Now, from our perspective, the whole world is close to unlimited. Of course, from Krishna's perspective, it doesn't mean anything. But from our perspective, it's pretty much is unlimited. So this is what the devotee wants to do. He doesn't want to be satisfied with little. What's the point in serving the Lord with just little? And also, like Shukdev Goswami has given this Shrutifal, anyone who chants this narration or even thinks of this narration about the activities of Maharaj Amrish certainly becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. So this is another aspect of devotion service, bhakti, when we glorify devotees. Just like there's a tradition in our classes that whenever somebody's appearance or disappearance days comes, any great acharya or the incarnation of the Lord, we glorify that person that day. So what happens when we glorify that person? So first, so suppose it's appearance or disappearance day of any acharya. So physically that person is not with us. But when we glorify, he gives his mercy from wherever he is. And also when we glorify those qualities tend to become more and more cultivated within us. So that is why glorification of devotees is very, very important. So we tend to get those qualities. We tend to develop those qualities in us by the mercy of that devotee. And of course, by the mercy of the Lord, because he gets pleased when his devotee is glorified. He gets very, very pleased. So it's always beneficial, always. Ambrishasya charitam ye shanvanti mahatmana muktim prayanti yate sarve bhaktya vishnu prasadata. By the grace of the Lord, those who hear about the activities of Maharaj Ambrish, the great devotee, certainly become liberated or become devotees without delay. So that's how powerful it is. So thus ends the first chapter, 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Durvasa Muni's Life Spared. So we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments. Oh, finally, so many devotees showed up. Okay, so we'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.